5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Skol Experience with GG Sports Podcast, Minnesota Sports Talk. Today, we have another guest on the show, Ryno of Vikings Uncensored. How is it going this evening?
Going pretty well. It's been an interesting few days here in Vikings land anyway. We've that mini bye, we've obviously done a little bit of soul searching and making a few changes. So we'll see how things go, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And a few changes that were much needed. To say the least.
Yeah. Before we go too far, I want to just shout out our boy Gary in the building. Let's go, Skol mates, Skol boys, and Chi-Town Vikings. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So Ryno, we haven't. This is the first time, and it's probably we probably should have made content a lot sooner than this, but this is the first time you've been on this show. And if you're a guest for the first time, we do want to know, how did you become a Viking fan? Let us know, your Viking story. What's your whole thing around that?
Well, I guess
he came down from Mount Sinai and carrying
the two stone tablets, and said, "Let there be pain and frustration. Hence, therefore, you are a Vikings fan." So, no, when I was little, my dad used to watch the Vikings quite a bit. He's not so much of a fan anymore now, but and sadly enough, my mother is from Wisconsin, so she's a Packers fan. So naturally gravitated towards the Vikings, and my sister gravitated toward the Packers. So there gets to be some interesting conversations and stuff going on in the Johnson household when Vikings and Packers play. But, I started watching about 1980, and I've lived through all the ups and downs, the triumphs, the heartbreaks, and still waiting on that elusive Lambeau trophy.
Yeah.
Just like the rest of us. So.
Right.
Absolutely. So how did you get into the podcasting space? What was your start there?
Basically my original start, good friend of a lot of us, Dave Stefano and Drew Bunting, had a podcast going, was called the Good Morning Gallarhorn, back on the old Climbing the Pocket network. And they would have me on a few times for their live post-game wrap-ups. And then, when the show dissolved and went their separate ways, it kind of sat there for a little bit. And I'm like, I really enjoyed doing that. So I think I'm going to start my own show, and then brought on a friend of mine, Brunswick, who's my co-host on on Vikings Uncensored. We started off just doing one show a week, Friday nights at 6:00 on our YouTube channel. Now, this past year, we've expanded to going 3 nights a week. I do a solo show on Monday nights called Ryno's Rants. Kind of hit some hot button stuff and post-game wrap-ups, that kind of stuff. Wednesdays, Lance does a show called Brunswick's Best, where he takes a look back at the historical players from the Vikings and at each individual number. Just had one drop tonight for number 21. And then, like I said, Friday nights we do studio show, sometimes live, sometimes recorded. But so we have a lot of content going out there anyway. So.
Yeah. Yes. Let's go. Awesome. And anybody watching, you should go and follow Ryno at Vikings Uncensored here on YouTube. His link is also in the description, as well as ours. Subscribe to all our channels. Start with his, and then like the videos, of course. All right, back into Vikings. Back into the most recent news that you've already touched on a little bit with the Cam Akers. What is everybody's overall thoughts of Cam Akers being a Viking? And now that we know that it was retrading a 2026 for a 7th conditional, whatever. So we traded one. We swapped picks and go one back to 7th round pick. Anyways, what is your guys' thoughts on getting Cam Akers? Do you think this is a move that needed to be done, something that will improve this team? Do you think it could be bad? What's all your guys' thoughts on that?
Ryno, we'll start with you.
Yeah.
All right. I guess, for what we gave up for him, I'm fine with the deal. I know there was talk that he was going to be released if the they couldn't find a trading partner. The way the running game has looked the first 2 weeks, we have to do something. I mean, I'm not laying this all at the feet of Alexander Madison by any means, but Cam Akers is a pretty good running back if he can stay healthy. So, it's right now it's a 1-year rental. So I'm good with rolling with it. And, if he can provide a spark to that run game, I mean, that's only going to be beneficial because, we've been so one-dimensional in the first 2 weeks. Now, like I said, part of that is the offensive line as well. We'll see with the addition of Dalton Reisner if any of that helps out, but still remains to be seen at that point, I guess. But.
Dave, what were your immediate thoughts upon seeing the news of the Cam Akers trade and we haven't talked to people since the Dalton Reisner signing, so go ahead and give your opinion on both.
Well, I was all on board in the Dalton Reisner signing because I felt like his increased value at pass blocking and his ability. I think he's not necessarily underrated, but as an offensive lineman, but just watching, a 15-minute video of him blocking showed me a guy with a lot of grit. Now he brought that up, that he's a really gritty player. And I think I talked about independent hands and his pass blocking where he puts one hand, gets it chopped down, he brings up the other. He just got that skill about him. Very smart player. And he's one of those guys that runs down the field, helps up the running back, picks up the running back. He's the first guy. He's looking for the next block, that kind of thing. So I feel like he's underrated as a running back. And I just heard someone say, hey, we're downgrading at run blocking. Well, if you look at the PFF grade of at Ingram run blocking this year, it's not so great, along with everybody else. So you take his average run blocking, we've actually upgraded if he can sustain that. It doesn't look like it doesn't seem like he's gonna play this week. Because the way Kevin O'Connell talked about it, hey, completely new system. He might have familiarity with some of the staff, but it's a totally different system. And then Cam Akers, it's a surprise to me, honestly. I feel like, why aren't we giving Ty Chandler a chance? The guy runs a 4.3. He shows he's got vision. He's looking pretty good in the screen game. It's more about the blocking. This may be just, it might work out. It might work out, but hopefully, I guess that as a rookie, he was really good. I was about to watch a highlight video of him before you got to me. So in about 15 minutes, I'll probably chime back in and tell you what I think.
See, well, the thing, obviously, I actually had mentioned it yesterday that I kind of saw the trade coming. The familiarity with Kevin O'Connell and that in his offense, kind of the offensive system since O'Connell.
And it was going to be cheap, so it's worth it.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing is like, hey, it's a shot.
Right. And
it didn't cost us much.
His cap hit is under $2 million this year. So it's like, it's nothing, nothing insane. And like Ryno said, it's a 1-year rental. If it doesn't work out, he walks at the end of the season. And if you trade for him and he walks, are you still in line for a compensatory pick if he signs somewhere since you traded for him, or how does that work? Because the contract is technically done. It's his last year of his deal. So I feel like
I think so, because he's a member of the Vikings now, and if he walks in free agency, I believe you're in line for compensatory of some sort now.
Yeah. If anyone in the comments has any more insight on that.
Now, you did mention the cap space. I think that leaves enough cap space for a fat guy like Akeem Hicks.
Right.
I desperately want right now.
Well, yeah,
I want a fat guy that's a happy, jolly fat guy in the middle of that defensive line at nose tackle. And the guy loves football. The guy just shows complete joy on the field when he's fighting. It's funny. He's one of those guys that beats you down and then laughs and giggles like, oh, that was a good play. That kind of thing. I want that guy on our team. I do.
Yeah.
Me too.
But going back to some of the Akers stuff, I don't know. It's just, to me, it just feels like a real low risk, high reward type deal here with the trade. And then you talk about Ty Chandler. I mean, I had hopes for Ty Chandler as well, but you have the feeling that maybe in the building, they're not 100% convinced that he can necessarily be the guy. And maybe they want to see what they have him in for another year, get him some reps in there to get him some real game experience and then go from there. But I mean, in a team, and here's the thing, I'm so happy we can put to rest the whole like tanking and just giving up on the season, because you don't make these moves if
people still People still talking about it.
If you're not in, you don't make trades. You don't sign Dalton Reiser or trade for a Cam Akers or try to bolster your team.
Right.
So I think we can tell Kwesi wants to win this year, and he thinks they can. He thinks, if you look at it, and everybody, we talked about it ad nauseum, self-inflicted mistakes, giving the other team more opportunities than they should have had, and that's what kills you at the end of the day. So I like these moves. I mean, worst case scenario, it doesn't work, and you move on, and we have a bad record, and you draft your quarterback of the future, and it is what it is at that point. But both deals I'm happy about. I like to see that they're at least trying to do something. So I like to see it. I'm happy. Yeah, very happy with both. And Dalton Reisner's introductory, or not press conference, but they talked to him in the locker room today. I don't know if you guys caught it.
Awesome. I watched it. That was good.
He's an awesome dude.
He was pointing out
awesome.
Pointed out the picture on Twitter of the airport thing. He said he was getting back from work. I was like, I'll try to stir up some fun on Twitter, try to get some GMs watching.
Right.
He also said that he was actually supposed to visit another team.
He's on his way to
sign a contract.
On his way to sign.
Yeah.
On
he
Monday.
Want to be a Viking. He just wanted to be a Viking.
And then he heard the Vikings want you. They'll get a deal done, and boom, there he goes. So
destination franchise, fellas. I've been saying it. We're a destination franchise.
By the way,
people want to play for us.
Skol for Life, Mateo, and Skol Your Soup. Nice. Thanks for hopping in.
Yeah. We appreciate y'all. Two-tone Tony Kofi is in the building. Like Casey said, we got Vikings Jerome in the building. Mateo, Skol Your Soup, Skol for Life. What's up? Hey, just like every show, we're going to give away a Justin Jefferson rookie card. Just put the hashtag Skols in the comment, like the videos, go and subscribe to Vikings Uncensored, and then come back and subscribe to our channels. Get those likes going, though. I want to put my touches on this. I think both of those there's no downside to these plays. Obviously, $4 million for Reisner, that's nothing crazy. Losing potentially a 6th-round pick, but it's actually a swap. That's not that big of a deal to me. So I think you're getting players that only can kind of give you hopefully some upside to your team. There's not really any negatives to it. To Cam Akers, you're talking a guy who's a former 2nd-round pick who has looked good on the field when he's played most of the time. And I mean, obviously those coaches know a little bit more than us, but so did the Lions with DeAndre Swift. And look how DeAndre Swift looks once he finally gets a feature back with the Eagles. So I do think you're getting a player that has a high upside and a guy that was definitely considered a better prospect than Madison coming into the NFL. So I'm not even, obviously, who knows if he comes in here, and I'm hoping it ends up being more of a 1-2 punch. You do got a guy in Cam Akers that is bigger than a Ty Chandler, who also still runs a 4.47 in the NFL draft. Alexander Madison, like a 4.6 something. So you don't have that.
Well, he did his pro day, ran a 4.53. So he came back and made up for that 4.67 he ran.
Still a sub. Jordan Addison ran a 4.47 or 4.49 or whatever it was. So you are getting more speed in Cam Akers on this team as well. So you could see, maybe a little bit of a duo thing, or, Cam Akers still has potential to be a good running back in the NFL here. There was a time when the Rams did look at him as their future at running back, and who knows? Nobody knows what was going on. Obviously, the whole league thought this was a head scratching thing, including Cam Akers, that he was getting healthy scratch and all that stuff. So it'll be interesting. And obviously, it's a good sign that KOC, the old offensive coordinator for the teams for the Rams, liked Cam Akers enough to be like, all right, I think he's worth taking a chance on. So overall, we'll see what happens. Maybe it's nothing, but at least you get a guy that does have some upside. And if it turns out, great. If it doesn't, no big deal. And the same thing goes with Reisner. And then everybody in the chat, I could see everybody in here saying all we need to do, and they've already hit it, is get a big guy in the middle of that defense to help with the run blocking. And man, if Kwesi went out and did that, if he came in and he went and grabbed Hicks, or honestly, anybody, any moves really, we need any sort of body there at least. But Hicks specifically, Kwesi's been getting a lot of hate kind of lately. And so far, I think it's hard to hate him for the moves he's making. So
cooking now? Is he cooking again? Can we say he's cooking?
I think he's cooking. I never said he didn't. Other than like going back, you can say his first year's draft. Okay, fair enough. Wasn't great. I 100% believe that.
Yeah, we need backups. We need backups.
Yeah, we need backup. He was just he was worried about our backups in the future. So I appreciate that because he comes in here and gets a tons of starters from this year's draft. And Jordan Addison, Ivan Pace, and Blackman looks good so far. And that's another thing. We're talking about some of these defensive tackles and interior defensive line. We still have not seen Jaquelin Roy on the field yet. And we still have, potential in that rookie as well. So hopefully we see some of him as soon as this week. I'm hoping he's not getting that healthy scratch and doesn't dress as well because we need as many bodies there. So I don't know. Hopefully all that stuff fix it up. But right now, I think Kwesi should definitely be trending up.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on the Akers and Dalton Reisner moves before we move on?
I'm halfway through a highlight reel, so I'm ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Pretty good.
Here, wait. One more thing. Pretty good. All right, one more thing. Hey, Mateo, let me know what your thoughts on Jordan Addison is now. I'll just throw that out there.
And one more thing with Akers, like you look at his stats from last season, and it was the auspicious start where he didn't. I don't even know if he played the first couple games. He was only listed as having 9 starts. Played in 15 games, so he missed 2, and he still ended up racking up 780 some tackles,
4.2 yards a carry,
780 or 80 some rushing yards, and 7 touchdowns. So you get a guy in here that has shown he can do it. It's just I don't know what happened with the Rams. That just seems like a really weird situation, but I don't know.
Did they announce yet what the other roster move would be to get him on there? I assume Myles Gaskin probably gets released, but
I would guess that I don't think they've announced.
Oh,
it yet,
he can still be
pending. It's still
practice
pending
squad, right?
Yeah, they can put him in the
Myles Gaskin's already released, right?
No, they released him and then brought him back after week 1, so they didn't have to guarantee a salary. But
for a reason this.
Right. I assume that he probably will be the one that would be let go in order to make room for Akers.
Well,
I would guess.
That would still leave us with only 3 running backs.
3, and CJ Ham.
Well,
what do you mean? Well,
CJ Ham ain't going. CJ Ham's half our offense. What are you talking about?
Yeah, let's give him 40 snaps this next game. How many snaps did he get the last game? Was it down from 22?
No,
he played a lot.
Oh, Scolger Soup got the knife on CS:GO.
Nice. Let me know what kind of knife did you get. What kind of knife did you get?
Did you get the doctor's
Those are like
knife?
Those are worth hundreds of dollars. Nice. Oh, stat track as well. Nice. He's pumped. But anyways,
so
I'm looking at Cam Akers. I'm liking him, man. I think
you're liking what you see on there.
Well,
it definitely does.
He hits the hole fast. He hits the hole fast. I can tell you that. So that's good. And we need it because, Madison was getting hit within 0.9 yards or something like that on every play this last game.
Yeah.
So maybe that, maybe he's got that extra step or that extra 1/10 of a second that, maybe he gets through the line faster. Who knows? But the thing that concerned me about Alexander Madison this last game was not because I felt like he got every inch he could in that first game.
Let's go.
The second game, the 2 drops is what kind of concerned me, even though they weren't perfect. One wasn't a perfect throw by Kirk, but it still hit him square in the hands. And we gotta bring those down. But he had a rough game, man. He had a rough game, and if he doesn't have that rough game, we might not make this move. So who knows?
Well, and we all know Madison's vision has never been his real strong suit. He's kind of that. If there's a hole, he's going to hit it, but he's not one of those guys that's going to kind of feel the openings and kind of make that kind of a way. He's a one hit and go kind of guy, whereas Akers I think is more of that patient, letting the blocks develop kind of thing and being able to find himself some positive yardage where there otherwise might not be any.
And Madison might be earning some dividends and short yardage plays this year too.
For sure.
Right.
Madison's more of a Leroy Horde than he is a.
Hey, if you want me to get 3 yards, I'm going to get you 3 yards. But if you want me to get you 4 yards, I'm going to get you 3 yards. I don't know how that quote went, but it was something like that.
If you need a yard, I'll get you 3. If you need 5, I'll get you 3.
I love it.
Yeah, and that is a good example. we've seen a little bit more from him in past, like when he's came in for Delvin Cook before, like in Delvin Cook's injuries, it seems like there's times where he was able to get bigger chunk yards, but he's never going to be, he's not going to be that, he's not going to break
I'm blaming the line
open.
right now.
Yeah, the offensive line is
it is mostly it is 100% mostly the offensive line so far.
I think O'Neal's the only guy
easily.
that's got a positive, a starter grade at run blocking right now.
For run blocking? Yeah.
Ryan O'Neal's rated number 1 in the league at tackle. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Off like Achilles injury?
Ryan O'Neal? I know, dude. He's so good. We need Dare Stop. Speaking of that, we can actually start going towards this Chargers game on Sunday, because I know someone was asking about.
Before we hop into that, Skol Soup, you're gonna have to let us know how much money you spent to get that 1K knife, though. I'm sure it's.
No, we don't need to talk about that.
Pushing 1K.
No one cares about how much. No one cares about how much.
But hey, Dave, and the last thing on the Akers thing, isn't it weird how, or the Madison thing, isn't it weird how people will jump to blame the offensive line with the running game and not for protecting the quarterback? But anyway, we won't talk about that. We'll just move on to something else instead. Anyway, as you said,
Kirk Cousins is apparently on track to get hit 150 times this year.
That is true. That is true.
Which is
he's on track to all kinds of records.
Yeah, he's got 700 yards, and 6 touchdowns, but he's on track to almost double the amount of times he got hit, which is kind of crazy. You wouldn't think that, right?
For sure.
So some good's happening.
That's another thing is
improved play calling that second game, man. Improved play calling that second game. So
definitely.
And we pretty much stayed away from that damn tight end screen, which made me happy.
Yeah. Right. There's a couple
Dave's
of
number
them,
one. That is Dave's number one hate.
We're
and then
in that
Ty
area.
Chandler looked good. He's had 2 screen passes, maybe even 3. I don't know, but he's had 2 that's been really. He looks good. He gets right spacing. He turns around. He's quick. He's that's why I was a little disappointed that he's not going to get that opportunity.
Yeah. One thing I do want to say before moving on is we played 2 of the most difficult, the best defensive lines in the NFL on week 1 and week 2. So hopefully moving forward, we don't have to worry about Kirk getting hit as much just because we're not playing as good of defensive lines. Even though there's some good players this week, but hopefully. So hopefully we bring Reisner in here. We don't play his top level talent and we can keep Kirk Cousins on his feet. And if that's the case, man, I think our offense really could, we were saying it, top 5 in the league this year. It could be top 3 in the league. And obviously with Kirk Cousins on 700 passing yards, JJ with over 300 yards receiving, Jordan Addison showing what he's doing, TJ Hawkinson showing what he's got. This offense can go places. So absolutely. I'm excited.
Kirk's on track for 5,900 and Justin Jefferson's on track for 2,500. Totally sustainable. Totally
I think so. Hey, against the Eagles in the Tampa Bay's defense, those aren't bad defenses.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
They're only going to get better. They could even do better than that.
But obviously this Sunday, you have 2 0-2 teams.
Oh yeah, I forgot we're 0-2 still.
Looking for their first win. To start off the week, the first official injury report did drop for this game, actually, from Vikings Insider here. Garrett Bradbury, Davenport, Marcus Davenport, by the way, this one is becoming incredibly disappointing to me. Most likely 3 weeks already. I will give Mateo the full thumbs up on this one. He called this a long time ago, and I disagreed with him. I was hopeful, but so far he is right there. Bradbury.
Yeah, I got egg in my face on that one too.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And we feel like the talent is there. The guy just can't.
Plenty of talent.
Can't stay healthy.
The worst part about the Marcus Davenport thing is he wasn't even supposed to be hurt. It was like a last-second injury report in week 1. Like he wasn't even supposed to go into that game injured, and all of a sudden he's injured.
Yeah, he tweaked his ankle in a Friday walkthrough. And now he's out for our 3rd game potentially. I know. So it's just that's frustrating. Because we need, obviously. According to PFF, even though I like what Flores is doing with our pass rush, we're towards the bottom of the league in our pass rush grade, according to PFF, depending on how you feel about that. But
they ranked us second in the league last year, so.
Oh, they did?
They ranked our defense second. You go look it up.
Oh, yeah. PFF. It was right. But our score.
That's the biggest indictment of PFF on certain rankings right there.
Certain ratings,
we talked about it, like individual effort, You can't help if your coach tells you to play off 8 yards. It's like
right. So I don't know.
The limiteds,
Yeah.
Christian Darrisaw, Jordan Hicks, Josh Metellus, Jalen Naylor, all limited. Which, I mean, if you want to talk about the disappointment Marcus Davenport has been, I know Jamie and I talked about this length here. Jordan Hicks has to be one of the biggest surprises so far this season with how well he's played in the first couple of games. And everyone is talking about him being traded or cut because of Asamoah and
including
Case.
us,
and obviously I was on the key picks. I knew Hicks was going to be around because he got voted a captain and he's a veteran presence. And he's looked like a guy who heard all the talk, heard all the chatter about him potentially being cut, and he's played out of his mind right now.
Right after the end of the season, it was like I thought there was a better chance we kept Kendricks, even though the money thing made sense. But I thought there was a better chance we keep Kendricks around than Hicks. Hicks had kind of an average season last year, and then we had Asamoah coming up or whatever. So I was one of the people that was like expecting him. Same with I didn't expect Alexander Madison being here as well at the end of the season or anything like that, but obviously they are. And then yeah, I agree. Jordan Hicks has definitely stepped up. He's been all over the field. You see him making sound tackles.
You can cover my face.
I saw an interesting stat today. Yeah. Jordan Hicks last year blitzed 17 times the entire season. He has blitzed 17 times in the first 2 games this year.
Oh, it's embarrassing to even think about how bad that shell was.
Yeah. Dude, it was so awful. Bad. It was
so
bad. And you can feel it with the defense. You can feel it. It's a whole different defense. And some of these guys are stepping up and everything too. But what's up?
So me and my guest last night both kind of had this, and I think Justin kind of agreed. Like that was a game plan against Eagles. Like we game planned to contain Hurts. And it worked, right?
Right.
So but what we didn't expect was 4 turnovers, getting down, and then them having to run the ball, and then them committing to the run the whole rest of the game. So the 3-man fronts, though, it seemed like every time I was looking, I'm live, in the chat. I'm like 3-man front, 3-man front, 3-man front. Mm-hmm. It looked crazy. But if we come out of that with a victory, we don't turn over the ball maybe only
half
twice.
The times.
Yeah, twice.
Twice. That's all we're asking.
Brian Flores is looking like a genius, right? It's like one of those things.
Yeah.
I saw a play today. I saw a play today that they ran the deal on. At one play, we had one down defensive lineman on the field. That was it.
Yeah, that's insane. You live on Twitter.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw that too.
But then on the Rams side of it, Austin Eckler, which would be huge, did not practice.
Yeah,
Eric Kendricks.
Eric Kendricks
did not practice. Then Bosa, Henley. Dan Henley, a rookie me and Jamie both liked coming out of the draft. Chris Rump and Mike Williams. Mike Williams was a full participant. The other 3 were limited. So those are the injuries to watch so far going through the first injury report of the week, which obviously it's not a huge indicator. You still got to see, Thursday, Friday, see how practices keep going. But
does it surprise you that I keep wanting to say San Diego, but the Chargers are like dead last apparently in like pressures?
Yeah, because they have good players. Like obviously they have Khalil Mack, they have Joey Bosa.
They've been getting burned through the air though too.
Their secondary is not doing so well. They're 32nd in the league in passing. In their pass defense.
Yeah, so that's probably that's really hurting them.
And that's something we need to absolutely exploit.
Well, and we can. We have JJ and Addison has been playing out of his mind too.
And Reisner's gonna shore up that interior immediately, hopefully.
With Eckler out, with our pass offense, their pass defense, I was talking like this is like a great matchup for us to get out of the shithole.
Yeah,
it's like
confidence.
They should not feel very well coming into. There's not going to be a single Charger fan there for one. They don't have fans.
They don't have fans at their own stadium. So.
They don't have fans at their own stadium. Who was it that was it the Rams and the 49ers?
Yeah.
And it was red everywhere.
Yep.
That was crazy.
Hey, Yogi.
Hey, what up, Yogi? Man? In the building. Yeah. So I agree. I agree.
Yeah. This is a huge game though. I mean, both teams are going to be motivated to win. I feel like if there's one fan base that wants to lose more, it's probably the Chargers, because they know if they lose a couple more games, Brandon Staley's probably gone, and I think Brandon Staley is an awful head coach. Personally, that team is far too talented to be barely making the playoffs and starting 0-2, which I guess you could say the same thing about the Vikes. But I mean, I don't know, man. Like that's
in a lot of aspects, the Chargers are the AFC version of the Vikings.
That's exactly what Maverick just said up here as well.
SK and Rap said the same thing. It's
except for are they getting all the turnovers?
No,
because the thing with
they had 0 turnovers.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a little bit difference there. I'd feel a little bit more optimistic about us shoring up our turnovers compared to whatever they need to shore up, because we shouldn't. I mean, those turnovers, like, it's terrible. You should not be doing it, but it's a little bit fluky. It's a little bit.
So they're 50 points in 2 games with 0 turnovers. We're 45 points with 7. So it's like they've like had to squeeze out every ounce, right, without no turnovers. And we here are almost right there with them, and we've gotten 7 turnovers. So that's,
right.
So, again, another thing, if we fix the turnover issue, we should be win this game.
Sculpture Soup, I see you, man. Congratulations on that poll.
So, I mean, based on what y'all are saying, if they have so obviously we win this, we come in this game and we just try to throw all over them. Obviously, we should continue to establish this run, or the run will be still interesting to see how quickly Cam Akers will come in if he'll play Sunday. He should be ready to go, but it'll be interesting to see that. And then same with Reisner. I'm sure he'll be suited up, but it'll be interesting if he will actually get a starting spot, or if we'll see him. No, you don't really see guards switching in and out. So I don't know if we'll even see him this Sunday, but I'm hoping so. I think all of us are at the point now where I know he's only been on the team for less than a week, but put him right into Ed Ingram's spot.
And he would be one Ed Ingram stepping on Kirk Cousins' foot and causing a sack away from coming into the game if he doesn't start.
Yep.
Yeah, sure. Exactly.
Yeah.
There was a play at the beginning of the Eagles game where Josh Oliver ran straight into Kirk Cousins, and then I just rewatched the play. Schlottman got so
he got forklifted into Oliver.
Right, and that's what it was. And I'm like, God, Schlottman, you're a big dude, man. Come on.
But it's just so it's weird how like the first few games have gone from an offensive play calling standpoint. Because like the first game, I feel like, I mean, like the Eagles game, we'll start with that. How I think the offense was and the running game to an extent was dictated by how the game went. I mean, they were in it to start, but then by the beginning of by the start of the third quarter, they're down 10 at that time, 10 or 13. And at that point, like you're forced to abandon the run. The run doesn't work very well, and you got to go to the pass game, which is why the passing numbers were huge. And the first game, we were in it, like we were never down big, and I feel like that just forced Kevin O'Connell into a really boring, his usual kind of boring, stale play calling, where you couldn't sustain a drive and you can never get the run game going. So with the Chargers, if they can stay in it, it's only going to help the run game, because you're not put in situations where you're not on the field often enough to be able to establish your offense, or B, where you're down so much you have to keep throwing the football. So I think that they got to stay in it, and Kevin O'Connell just needs to have his foot on the gas as if they're
the
down
whole
by
time.
Multiple scores.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point, because just like last year with our
put 20-0 to start the game,
right?
Right on the board, and then we're set. Yeah, because that's
and hypnotize Kevin O'Connell to make that like real. And then, he
has to believe it, because the second quarter and third quarter lows from last year is probably Kevin O'Connell starting to be conservative, which is the reason why we got rid of Mike Zimmer. So that's what it kind of feels like. Like, is he starts to be conservative because we are winning? Because in the first quarters of like every game last season, we were always starting with a winning, and then the second and third would just be boring, and then we'd fall behind, and then we'd have to come back.
Right.
You remember the Buccaneers game? You remember the Buccaneers game from when they won the Super Bowl, like when we played them? And I felt like we were better. I felt like we played better than them that game, but it was like turnovers.
Yeah,
that's what this Eagles game felt like.
And the pass interference on a Hail Mary on Gronkowski, because they call that only when it's Tom Brady and the Patriots, and they're or at Tom Brady and his football.
I can't remember every detail. I'm 50, so
yeah. Ryno, what are
I don't remember what I ate for lunch. So.
I mean, Mateo, I'm going to disagree with you because I think he still has the ability to be a fantastic head coach. It's just the play.
He's shown good play calling, and he's
Ryno,
shown
overall, what are your
calling.
thoughts with Kevin O'Connell after the first season plus 2 games?
Overall, I mean, to Mateo's point, one thing we have to remember is last year was Kevin O'Connell's first year of actually calling plays. When he was at the Rams, he didn't call the plays; McVay did. He set up the game plan
for the Redskins that one year, and it wasn't very good.
Yeah, but so I mean, O'Connell's still learning. So we can't just. And we went 13-4 last year with all the warts and the issues and everything else that we had. The one thing I do have a concern with is a couple of things. One, like you mentioned earlier about the whole tends to go into that conservative mode if we get a lead and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
We need to just keep the foot on the floorboards and hammering until the game is completely out of reach. And then the other issue I have is his tendency to try to get too cute on like 3rd and short and things like that a lot of times.
Yeah,
right.
Those play calls are weird.
There's a couple.
I almost wish he would just pass the play calling duties on to Wes Phillips and just be it because as a head coach, I think he's phenomenal. He's good with the players.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess you could question the strictness thing and is he tough enough to make tough decisions, which remains to be seen to an extent. But I just love him as a head coach. He understands the game of football, but it's just the play calling thing to me is just a little bit concerning at this point.
Yeah, last year was like not firing Ed Donatel at the bye week, and then
right.
making personnel decisions like Addison should be on the field and all 2 receiver sets. I don't care. He's the best player. So put the best player on the field. I don't know why he goes 0 for 22 and 2 receiver sets against the Buccaneers. He's obviously the better receiver between him and KJ. KJ, like we always say, is a heck of a number 3 receiver, right? So, but Jordan Addison looks special. I am. Is it Jamie? You're the man.
You better believe it. Actually,
Jamie was the man who wanted Jordan Addison. We got him. Yeah. He's like,
here, give me a second. Give me 2 seconds.
Moving up for
We're going to go Jordan Addison if we stay at 23. I have a feeling he's not going to be there. Boom, baby.
Wow, you have that just queued up.
I've had that. It's been on here.
He waited for that exact moment when David brings it up, and he's going to go boom.
I'm saving this specifically for when Dave says I called Jordan Addison now. But no. Addison, obviously, he's looking fantastic. And you talked about KJ Osborne, and we do think he's a good wide receiver 3. Though, obviously, him dropping those passes is inexcusable. Other times, he was wide open twice. I don't know if that had something to do with the defense or if KJ just got himself wide open in this game. But
that kills time on the clock, right? Because of the big play, it's a dead ball, but that's 20 yards down the field. That's us advancing the ball.
Exactly. So that was, he made a couple drops that are just inexcusable. And you do have to wonder, even though I think you can't be dropping the ball no matter what, but I do think he's a good wide receiver 3. The number 2 is just not there. We have to start. I'm going to have to jump with Dave here and his guy. We need to see some Naylor on the field here. I think it's at the point now where I'm like, it's nothing about Jordan Addison and KJ Osborne. We started after thinking KJ Osborne or Naylor.
Well, that's what I was happy, because I don't think we're going to re-sign KJ, right? Because the receiver market out there, someone's going to like him, right? And we like him, but someone's going to like him too and pay him when we got, I feel like, the future. Talk about having a really good 3rd receiver, Jalen Naylor, man. And he's showing up on special teams. He's the Thielen, he's the Adam Thielen, even though he wasn't a UDFA, he was 6th round, right? Yeah, he was 6th round. I'm like, he's coming down on as a gunner and just smoke that dude in what was it, the Buccaneers game? I like me some Jalen Naylor. I'm his biggest fan.
Gary, remind us at the end. We'll get into score predictions and we'll do all that at the end. So remind us at the end to bring that up again.
Right. Naylor.
Yeah,
Naylor am a fast jag.
That's he looks fast, right? He didn't run a super quick 40. It was sub 4.5, but it was like 4.48 or whatever. but he looks fast on the field. So that
his nickname is Speedy. Yeah.
Speedy Naylor.
Yeah.
So he looks
Naylor.
like that on the field. And honestly, he's outgunning the guy we thought was going to kill it, which was Najee Thompson.
Yeah.
You know,
Which, by the
he's
way,
actually
Najee-
outperforming him.
Which,
So
by the
that's
way,
cool.
Najee Thompson, I've noticed outruns a lot of kicks and punts on coverage. He's
He
behind the
did a little
returner
better
lot.
this last game, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he just
He'll
loves to get
get
down the
it. He'll
field.
get it. He's
and
a
then catches the
rookie.
ball, he
gets
breezes by it a
excited.
little bit too fast, but
Yeah,
yeah.
he's still. I mean,
He's
we'll
gonna.
see some
He's
stuff on
gonna. He just got a little. He got a little ahead of himself
Hey,
against
AJ,
the
what's
ball.
going on,
Hey, what
man?
up, AJ?
Wait,
One
but, like,
second
it's weird.
before moving forward real quick. Again, everybody in here, another show, another Justin Jefferson rookie card. Hashtags go in the comments for your chance to win this. Subscribe to our channel, starting with Ryno and Vikings Uncensored. Go find them on YouTube. We also have their link in the description. Come back and subscribe to our channels and like all the
Hey,
videos,
Sarah.
our
What's going on?
videos. Get those likes in, all that good stuff. Anyways, what were you gonna say?
But it's weird that with Jordan Addison, we're not so far. I'm not expecting I haven't seen the Jordan Addison I expected. Right, I expected him to be like that kind of middle of the field, like running just super clean routes, getting out of his breaks, and just kind of nickel and diming down the field. He's been the big play guy. Two big play touchdowns in his first 2 games, and obviously I think a lot of that, again, is predicated by the offense of just trying to score quickly or just kind of being vanilla, not being able to sustain enough drives to get him involved just in the shorter passing game. But yeah, so far he has not been what I have expected to this point.
Yeah, and a
Kirk
lot of
got
people
interviewed about him, or got asked a question about him, and he was talking about that play, Jordan Addison's touchdown, and he says that was on his favorites list. The bubble screen, TJ Hawkinson fake, safety comes down, Addison's on the post, and he goes, and he goes, "You run a really good post route." He goes, and all that Jordan Addison said to him was, "I like the post."
That's it.
Apparently, that's
He
his
is a
favorite
man
route.
of few words.
I like the
Justin
post.
Jefferson. Yeah, that is funny. And that's the thing is, I mean, when you look at Jordan Addison in college, he was he could do everything, including beating people deep. And it wasn't really until, obviously, people worry about his size, but it wasn't until his 40 time where people were all of a sudden like, all right, he can't be a deep threat, even though everyone wants to call Jackson Smith and Nick Najigba a deep threat, even though he hasn't done anything in that area or college often.
I'm feeling better now, right? That we didn't, because he got taken away well before we were picking.
Yeah, and
right?
Quentin,
Like 18th,
and speaking of that,
18th,
playing the Chargers here, I mean, Quentin Johnston,
Like 2 catches.
he's got
thank
he has
God.
like 3
2
catches
for 3 yards or something like
so
that.
far on
Those
this
are the
season.
two. Those were 2 guys,
Right.
but I was
Zay Flowers
wondering.
has looked pretty good though. Zay Flowers,
Flowers
that
has looked
offense
good
is
so
not
far.
predicated on the pass game, so for him to look good is something.
Oh, he's getting a lot
Dave,
of
going back to
catches.
your question here, yeah, I definitely feel like Harrison Smith has
So far,
not looked what I was hoping.
Bynum has looked like our best safety so far,
right
on this
and also
team.
like I saw some good points on Twitter just since we're talking about safeties. The whole like people are concerned because Lewis Seen didn't come in for Bynum, but Theo Jackson did. I did see the good point of he's not a 1-to-1 replacement for that. He's a 1-to-1 replacement for Harrison, or not technically 1-to-1. Don't not in that way, but he's a Harrison Smith type safety, so that's who he'd come in for. So I'm just still holding on to Lewis Seen. That's all it is.
Yeah, because
we
is
thought,
Bynum considered a
for
free
a second
safety
there,
now?
I thought it was a mistake because he got burnt, and then he made the interception. Right, he got burnt earlier in the game.
Yeah, he did that by Devonta Smith, like right when he came in the game.
Jay's got it.
Mm-hmm.
And Lewis Seen's the fastest guy in the secondary. If you put him out there, he's the fastest guy.
Oh, definitely. He's got to be one of the fastest guys in any secondary on any team. 4.29 or was it 4.28?
So let's just get him on the field. That's all you gotta do. Let him play.
We were talking about JJ was talking about that last night. Why not put Booth out there for a series? Why not? Because Evans got burnt. It's like why not try put him out there? What would it hurt? Because even then Booth is probably one of the better cornerback run defenders, on the team, I would think, because he just showed that in college and he showed it in preseason. I just think he could help out there too. But hey, I'm not making the decisions, but it would be nice to see what these guys could do on the field rather than practice. So that's what
practice.
Sure.
I like how no matter what, if you say the words practice, it has to be practice.
Yeah, practice.
Yeah. Same thing with playoffs.
Yeah, playoffs. Yeah, you can't even playoffs. Yeah, those two own. What
was the coach's name from Indy? What was his name?
Jim Mora.
Jim Mora.
Jim Mora. Playoffs.
Yeah, he was with the Saints too. Yeah.
Playoffs.
But it was when he was with the Indy, right?
Yeah. Yep. It was fun. That is funny though. No, they own those words like forever. If you say practice or playoffs, boom, one face comes in your head. It's funny as hell.
They are who we thought they were.
Smith left Evans in a one-on-one with Smith against Philly, but he also left Metellus one-on-one with Evans.
Yeah, I remember that because Harrison
Evans,
Smith he was caught in no man's land there, right in the middle. And
I made the point that that's kind of what we were expecting. We would give up a big play like that here and there, and finding a Metellus on a Evans is just going to eventually happen sometimes, and because we're so aggressive.
Yeah, which, by the way, I guess there are some stats on the NFL Network puts out the pregame videos every week, and I guess Caleb Evans technically allowed 158 quarterback rating last week, which is pretty much perfect. So,
oh shit,
yeah, not a great look if you look at that.
That was
I thought he looked
okay.
At
one point.
I thought he looked okay
last year.
Yeah, I didn't think Evans looked that bad.
No,
I thought he's played decent both weeks, really. But
yeah.
Sure.
I mean, we didn't. Agree, I think we allowed 200. We didn't allow 200 yards at all in week 1, and then in week 2, I think it was 150 yards passing. That's all.
400 yards rushing,
and 500 yards rushing, and 100.
I think it was like 190.
I think DeAndre Swift ran for more than Jalen Hurts.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's
yards.
That's nothing but a win for us. You take what we had last season. That's nothing but a win to see our secondary play like
this
that.
Defense, This defense, even though they got beat a couple times, like it's such a breath of fresh air here, because it's like we're doing some different things, and it's nice.
It's different. It's better than last year.
We're not letting them catch the ball and then grouping up to tackle. There's not a lot of free runners anymore, and I'd love to see it.
Yeah, there's a difference. It's weird. You think 0-2. I don't know if it's because what Quezzy did with the Reisner thing, also with grabbing Cam Akers, watching the Lions, the Packers, and Bears all lose on Sunday. But for an 0-2 team, the morale has definitely changed ever since that.
I feel like we have better morale going into this game than we did against going into the Eagles.
Oh, way more. Because the Eagles, most people, and that's one thing, most people thought we were going to get smacked by the Eagles, and it ended up being a game we should have won, and we lost because of ourselves.
Yeah, which I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I hate the old adage of they didn't beat us, we beat ourselves. It's like, I hate that because technically the other team did beat you. But the thing with the Eagles is you gave a good offense more opportunities than they should have had by turning the ball over, and you gave them opportunities in plus territory. So it's just like it's that like where you beat yourself to the point of giving a team like Philadelphia more chances. And same thing with Tampa when turning the ball over. Like, Baker Mayfield is a number 1 overall pick at one point in his career, and so far he's looked pretty solid. He's got 2 really good receivers there.
I call him a top 15 quarterback going on the season. Going into that game, I was like, this guy can play. He has shown 2 really good seasson.
Yeah,
not elite or anything, but he had 2 pretty darn good seasons. He was looking pretty good before he got hurt that year too.
Yeah, again with the Browns, absolutely.
He got shafted by the Browns. Let's just
I mean, he
got shafted by the Browns.
And karma's a bitch.
It just looked like a terrible mistake by the Browns right now to let go of Baker Mayfield and get Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson looks bad.
Huge mistake.
He looks bad.
He looks terrible.
And the thing with Baker, they were so they said he can't get it done, but Baker's got a good arm, and when the shoulder was healthy, he put up some solid numbers. So I don't know. This isn't a Baker Mayfield show. I've always been a Baker fan. I love the attitude. I really do. Like, you got to act that way when you're an undersized walk-on quarterback at a big school like Oklahoma, and it worked for him.
Yeah. When we played him, I was not impressed at all. He looked like just a man. So far, it seems like he's just trying to be a game manager, which is fine with them.
He looked better in the second half.
Still, I don't know. He wasn't great,
but he had grit. He ran the ball.
He has that. I'm not on the Baker Mayfield train, even though I had to go pick him up in my fantasy draft.
I wouldn't call saying he's top 15 being on the Baker Mayfield train, but if that's the case,
I wouldn't even
choo-choo.
I mean, I'm not. I think he's average, very, very average. Still,
Atlanta's 2-0. The Buccaneers are 2-0. I'm hating life right now at 0-2. I'm laughing about it. Oh shit!
It just feels like things could be changing around. It does. I wish, for some reason, I kind of wish we played like I don't know. I wish we played the Panthers this week and we just dominated them.
Nah, you got to
go in there and play a good team.
You got to get a talented team in here at
who is
home,
also underperforming.
Right, and you got to whoop their ass, and everything's going to be fine.
Yeah. I'm taking the scare.
I saw that the Kansas City the next 6 games is playing as the teams currently have a 1-11 record.
That's wild.
Is it it must be a slow night at the paper mill.
Sorry.
That's my dad. Must be a slow night. Him and Dave are having fun watching the pod. Thanks for hopping in, guys.
Let's go.
Okay, Kofi's mark this post. We're winning Sunday and we'll win the division. I like it. I like the optimism, man. I like the optimism.
Kofi is Mr. Optimism. I'm changing your name, man. Change it to Mr. Optimism.
Yeah, we need that. We need some optimism here. We need some optimism here for sure. Because I mean, this could definitely.
Sarah became a Kirk stand shirt.
Yeah, she did. I mean, we got to go on the Kirk train now. Obviously, he's about to break 6,000 yards passing. So
totally sustainable.
Totally. But no,
it is the record. What is the record?
That's a good question. You should look it up. I don't even know. It's probably 5.
Well, Tua's got him beat. So.
It's over 5, but
yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So, hey, what up, Sodak in the building?
What's going on? KB plays. Sodak, how's it going?
Sodak, kid.
Sorry, Dave.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I think it is kind of nice to feel like we're not out of it. It did feel like that for a second, but how things will change if we lose on Sunday.
Right.
I think after the trifecta of failure of the NFC North this Sunday, I think everybody kind of hold it.
It's like, hey, we're still in this, and
we have to win.
And it was
to win now.
Yeah, but it was still. And the thing about that is those were pretty bad losses by the Lions and all of them were bad losses. Like the Packers, the Falcons, they're a bottom 3 team in the NFL.
Well, the Bears are an absolute shit show right now. Like that.
Oh yeah, they're a 12 alarm dumpster fire right now.
Literally, it's lighting up on fire.
You have the defensive coordinator doing God knows what over there. You have Justin Fields calling out his coaches. It's just it's
maybe coaching.
Yeah.
What?
It's not
Are you stupid?
Zero chance it's me. And
it's just
the 200 yards that can't eclipse.
Here's the thing. People are like, everybody's coming to his defense saying, yeah, they're trying to turn him into a pocket passing quarterback, and he's not that. You got to let him be himself. And that's exactly why I didn't want Justin Fields. I don't want, and that was my issue with Anthony Richardson. I don't want to have a guy that eventually you're like, this guy can't be a pocket passing quarterback, so he just needs to be a running back who throws the football sometimes. That's not what I want in my quarterback, and that's exactly why I didn't want a guy like Justin.
With Richardson so far, it looks like he's doing solid in that area.
I gotta watch him. I haven't done.
That's the one thing about Anthony Richardson,
that development.
And you can tell he wants to be he wanted to be, even in college, even though he has all the athleticism and size in the entire world, it's like he chooses to throw the ball instead of running. Unlike Justin Fields, even though Justin Fields looked better at Ohio State in that area, but in Lamar Jackson is a good point to what you're saying as well. Is like he's going to run before he throws or whatever. But that's one thing that's really surprising about Anthony Richardson.
Most of the time, Justin Fields doesn't look like he's even interested in throwing the ball.
Right.
I'm watching some of those highlights of low lights actually, because he gets sacked of these wide ass open guys right up the middle, and he's looking right at them. They're in front of him. And that's one of the things, like with Christian Ponder, I mean, eyes are down. I think Fields' eyes are down. And that's what things I like about, Kirk, I think his eyes are always downfield. And I think there's other players like that, our eyes are always downfield. The Kirk's detriment is I feel like he consciously chooses to stand there and take the hit.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Kirk gets into his own head too often, and that's where he has the problem. He sits and starts overanalyzing stuff instead of just boom, think and go.
Yeah.
Or
which I have seen.
Oh, there's that too.
I have seen. It was improvement from the second game to the first game to the second game for sure for Kirk, because it seemed like he was slow with his decision making. There was still a couple. Now it sucks because that first game I did not like some of his not decision making, but what's the word?
Kind of his panic checkdowns.
He wasn't making not just that, but there's people open and he decided to wait I can't think of the word now. No.
Which game?
Whatever.
The Bucks game?
first game.
He's waiting for them to get themselves open instead of throwing them open.
Yeah, something like that. And he's just not making a decision right away, pretty much. Even though there's a guy that could be open and he's just taking too long to make that decision. And then now I feel like in this game, I was that's one thing about with Kirk Cousins. Then you kind of I look for it, which isn't fair for Kirk Cousins. Because in this game, it wasn't too bad. There was one time where Jordan Addison, I think it was third down actually. And Jordan Addison beat his guy on right towards the right past the first down on the sidelines, and Kirk Cousins doesn't throw to him, and then Jordan Addison runs up five yards past in front of the first down, and then Kirk Cousins finally throws to him. So that was an example of him. He had him open, but he wanted to wait to make a different play. I don't know what it was, and then he ends up, we would have had a first down there for sure. And then it was 5 yards short because he waited too long to throw the ball. So indecisiveness, I think maybe is the word I was looking for. But I saw that a lot in the first game. And I think now after that second game, I was kind of paying attention to it specifically. But other than that, so far, it seems to be getting better. So I'm hoping he's getting loose out there and he's getting out of his head a little bit. Yeah. Dave, what do you want to say? There's obviously something you want to say here.
Recency bias. We watch our games. We only see the highlights of other teams. That's I always lean on that.
That's fair. It's fair. And I feel like that's fair with how I was watching Kirk Cousins in that last game, but he definitely improved. And it's hard because you do worry about Kirk Cousins from those mental areas. I don't know. You just have to with him.
Dude, I had Lions fans on PSF. The Lions commentators, I was in there. They were like, Kirk is the only reason you guys stayed in that game. And, it's funny that it's outside in, and I have people that come in, see my Vikings Vikings feet mats, and they start talking to me, and I'm always wearing Viking shit, right? Because it's a conversation starter. And they talk to me about Kirk Cousins and whatever. But outside, we made, well, I don't want to go into it, obviously, but there's guys seeing those games that are on fans of other teams that are noticing they wish they had them because of their quarterback sucks.
Well, but also with OSU quarterback,
we got here.
Ohio State quarterbacks never end up being anything.
Yeah, right. Everybody
awful.
Keeps saying that, and sure enough, another one.
Yeah, Shroud. He threw for 350, 2 touchdowns last game.
But as you said, garbage time. A lot of garbage time.
Yeah, there was. I had him in fantasy. So
Fields can't even throw for that in garbage time, though. So
that is.
You can't even throw for half of that in garbage time.
But Dave, you were saying
Austin Eckler did not participate. What's up?
Yeah, the PSF guys, Pro Sports Football or Pro PFS. PSF, Pro Sports fans. Sorry, Pro Sports fans. But I don't even know who I work for anymore. But yeah, the Lions guys, I joined their chat, and they were, they saw I was Minnesota Sports Talk, right? So he started talking to me about how we did against the Eagles. They think they were calling us trash, though.
Yeah, but
the Lions fans calling us trash.
Calling us trash.
But I think the reason that they see the Kirk Cousins thing is because they have kind of the same thing with Jared Goff. A guy on the outside. I mean, except for now, I guess the national.
I have a lot of respect for Jared Goff.
But on the outside, people are looking at Jared Goff he ain't anything, and they're just but he is though. You just don't see it. Then other Vikings fans will be he's okay. He's not as bad as people. So I think it's they feel it. They get a lot of the same stuff. I
think Lions made the right decision and staying with Goff. Man.
Well, because that's the thing. Because then you can draft other positions, which they have, and they've done a really good job at doing it. Their signings,
except for
CJ Gardner Johnson now being out, that signing looks a lot worse now, unfortunately. But
I was gonna say the Gibbs thing is that doesn't make sense. You trade up to the 10th pick to grab a running back, and he plays you don't use him at all. Just as it's DeAndre Swift
has 175 yards.
Yeah, Swift goes to the Eagles,
and every time Gibbs touches the ball, he does something with it.
Yeah, especially in that first game. What's this one? Hey, what up, RDA Midwest? Trick question. Name 2 former Vikings quarterbacks that were more accurate than Kirk Cousins.
Is there any? Is that why it's a trick question? Is there none?
I mean, Bradford.
Not in my lifetime.
He set an NFL record, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah, Bradford,
even though he was the ultimate check down quarterback. of all time, probably.
I mean, and
his knees are made of balsa wood.
I mean, Culpepper set the NCAA record at UCF, so he was pretty decently accurate. But yeah, I would say Bradford. There you go.
And Kirk Cousins, he's accurate for sure.
Oh, right.
Obviously,
Sure.
yeah. And Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. He defeats himself. If there's anything that is he defeats himself in the mental area of the football game. So far in his career, that's been the only thing.
Yeah, if he didn't have that mental deficiency, we would have won 17 games last year.
Dude, we would have. Hey, I promise you it'd be.
You probably would have won 14.
Give me that softball. It's a softball game.
Which, by the way, Ryno, I love
think
the
so.
mug.
Hey, I
mug,
think we beat I think we definitely beat the Giants last year. If that wasn't the case, so I think I think Kirk Cousins, he has all the talent in the world. Because that's one thing you can say about Kirk Cousins. They'll say, I think he does have talent. He's a really good quarterback, but there is something he is missing, and it's definitely in that area. Though, hopefully, it seems like not just that. The guys has literally the best talent in the entire NFL to pass to. So, throughout, even as a Viking, he has had Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen. He's had more than enough, even though it's not like there's times he hasn't had the worst offensive line. I think Kirk Cousins definitely makes a lot of mental errors.
Oh,
we
won't
go into.
You said there's times he doesn't have the worst offensive line.
He's had 26th or lower every year as a Viking.
The offensive lines have not been good.
Yeah, but so a lot of
I will agree with that. The offensive line has been.
The offensive line's been bad, but to what extent?
2018 and probably right now is probably.
How is
trading for like the
two worst? Time to get the ball to a Justin Jefferson. You need time to get the ball to a Stephon Diggs.
So what quarterbacks do you think? You think no quarterbacks could be on any of these Vikings teams since 2017, since we have Kirk Cousins? You don't think any quarterbacks out there could be on there and still succeed better than Kirk Cousins did?
Well, no,
I don't think so. I don't think the offensive line was that.
I'm not disagreeing with the mobility thing. He's not mobile, so it would have helped.
Not just mobile,
but to sit here and you say you can't blame the offensive line, and
I would say you definitely can.
He's had all these weapons, and he just can't do it. Like
I think it's not just. I'm saying there's an issue that Kirk has. That's all I'm saying.
Kirk Cousins conversation.
No, I'm saying that there's a problem with Kirk Cousins. It's not everything but Kirk. Dave is coming from a everything but Kirk area. That's what I'm getting.
Am I?
I'm going to agree with Jamie on this.
Did I not criticize him to his detriment? He stands there.
It's not the offensive line. It's not this. It's not that. It can't be Kirk Cousins. I'm not saying it's only Kirk Cousins, but I'm saying there is Kirk Cousins. It's not just the offensive line.
And you're acting like he played bad.
I didn't say bad. I said he has some. He's made some pretty big mental errors in his NFL career that cost us games.
Well, I made this comment. I think it might have even been on your post, Dave, yesterday, whenever it was, when you were trying to compare Cousins and
excuse me, Kirk Cousins' name was nowhere in my post.
We all knew who you were talking about. You could be as sneaky as you want to.
I was talking about Patrick Mahomes and everybody talking about how Tom Brady takes less money. Why don't people talk about Patrick Mahomes in the future?
Okay, but
Kirk Cousins nowhere in my post.
We all knew where you were going with it, Dave. So
that was you assuming.
That was
Ryno. That was you assuming because you.
There was no assumption. It's stone cold fact.
This is Ryno out there on Twitterverse waiting for my tweets about anything.
Yeah.
No, but Dave, I'm actually going to give Kirk some kudos here. So if you'd let me go to my point.
Okay, go ahead. You have the floor.
All right. Yeah. I made this comment. It's the thing with Kirk Cousins is you've got the Kirkistanis who, no matter what happens, they are going to make excuses for Kirk. It's never anything is Kirk's fault. No matter what happens, it's not Kirk's fault. It's always the line. It's always the defense. It's always the coaching. It's always this. It's always that. Conversely, you've got the Kirk haters who Kirk can throw for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns, and they can't give him any praise. Then you've got a big majority of us in the middle. Okay, he plays great. He's going to get, lauded for it. If he plays like crap, he's going to get called out for it. But it's,
but the ones in the middle have realized that there has been times in Kirk Cousins' career where he's made a mental mistake. Even if I think Kirk Cousins can have an amazing game, which he can, and he can have zero mental mistakes, there's been multiple times in his career where he's in a big game and he makes a mental error. And it's not, because I'm not a Kirk hater. I don't hate Kirk. Even Dave would tell you that I'm not out here trying to be a Kirk hater at all. But I am not convinced that Kirk Cousins has passed. I don't know. Maybe this year, maybe we'll see. I'm going in the season. I was hoping that we'd see Kirk Cousins come in with some more confidence and everything. And in the first game, I wasn't really impressed. And it's something that he just has to deal with from people who've watched him so far, because he has had,
for example,
made a mental error.
For example, Kirk Cousins is not a top 10 quarterback. Yet he's always in the top 10 in touchdowns.
I would put him top 10.
And passing.
He's top 10.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd put him in top 10, though.
I don't know how many times, even yesterday, people talking about how he's a 12 to 15, 12 to 15 quarterback. I'm like, he's leading the league right now. Come on, guys. Come on. I mean, like, that's the way I act when I see something like that. But
yeah, Kofi, I'm definitely not saying that. I definitely don't think Kirk is the reason why we're losing.
Back to we only look at our quarterback. We're going to nitpick that quarterback. And every time I mention how awful our defense or our line has been in his Vikings career, I think the guy I had on yesterday just posted earlier, yesterday, about he had a 14th ranked defense and the next best was like 25th. So, and then you talk about how his offensive line, you said maybe he had a 21st ranked offensive line, but I think it's much lower than that every year. But then we go look, and Kirk Cousins has made errors in his career. Every quarterback has made errors in here. I think he makes less than most. So
he makes them in big stages, big parts of the games.
Why are we in those big stages? Why are we in those big parts?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because once you make playoffs,
dude, he made a lot of good.
Who cares how you
we
get
had
there?
A lot of big stages in games last year.
I don't care about a lot of big stages. Playoffs. Like, getting to a game is okay. I want to win games.
You were 14-point underdogs against the Saints. It's like.
But here's the biggest thing, and to Jamie's point here. Okay, wild card game last year, Kirk played a pretty good game.
Yeah.
What is Kirk remembered for that game? Checking down to TJ Hawkinson on fourth down, throwing short of the sticks because of that mental.
And that was
block.
the one. That's
like the one play that everybody remembers.
That one I full on blame the offensive line for, though. He had no time to step into any
he
sort
could
of
have.
throw.
He had enough. I watched that play. Obviously, we've all seen it.
I think most everybody
he had room.
who remembers that should get a tattoo.
He had room to his.
He has room.
He had room to. He definitely had room to extend the play to his right. There's no question. He could have. He had nobody over there. The pressure was on. He could have took a few steps. He had KJ open. I don't know if he would have caught the ball. And that was what Kirk Cousins did say, is like, all right, if he was going to change anything that play, it was to get the ball to KJ. I think that's correct.
No, he was he was down on himself for not getting it to KJ on third down. Like he threw it slightly behind him and should have let him a little bit more.
But like the thing on that final play, if he would have thrown it downfield into double coverage, even to Justin Jefferson, and if it got picked off or whatever, people would not be riding him as hard as they did because he checked it down.
I think that there would be
the rational people.
Exactly.
It's the same thing game a couple years ago when it was fourth down and whatever it was, we needed a touchdown, and he dumps it off to CJ Ham, and that short dump off that had absolutely no chance of getting in the end zone.
Here's an example. Buccaneers game. I think it was probably second down. I don't know. He's rolling out to his right. He tries to dump it over to Madison. He jumps up. It's too high. KJ Osborne was open in the end zone. He missed that throw. Next play, he swings past. He throws a pass to Madison. He breaks it for 4 yards. My God, why the hell did he throw that? No one could break that tackle. 4th down and 8. No, TJ Hawkinson could never break a tackle. Come on. We got it. It happens. It happens. It's the thought process. I was given on that 4th and 8. The thought process on that 4th and 8 play given to me several times on my on shows I'm on is that 0% chance of first down, but at least you got a 2% chance if you throw it to JJ downfield before he even broke on his route and wasn't looking. So I mean,
we see what JJ can do.
He's already
JJ's made those plays. I think he
made the decision. The pass was actually caught. I'm not going to kill a guy for that. I'm not going to kill a guy for that.
Catching it short of the sticks and not being able to get a first down out of it is no different than an incompletion.
Madison was short of the sticks.
It just doesn't change my mind
to get to that touchdown.
It wasn't a good thing for him to do as far as changing my mind that he doesn't show up in the biggest moments in a game. It just doesn't. And that's just reality of it. It didn't make it any better. And even if it wasn't just totally his fault, that's just how I feel about that.
For biggest moments of games.
But he also doesn't go out there
in that one game.
He also doesn't go out there thinking I got to do what the fans want. He goes.
But we know. I mean, we all watched the court. We all loved what we saw from Kirk Cousins in the quarterback series. But it's just you can see how much he's in his head. Like it's obvious that he doesn't have that Mahomes type mentality. I'm going to go out there and be the best. All that kind of stuff. Like you just don't see that out of Kirk Cousins.
For example, indie game, the quarterback, the Buffalo game. I saw so many comments about how there's Kirk being Kirk and in his head and he's frustrated and he's showing it and we won the 2 games. We came back and he had crazy good comeback games and we're talking about how Kirk was showing his frustration on the sideline. Oh my God, that's Kirk being Kirk. He won those 2 games. He came back. He led us back.
Case in point on that though, Dave, that the catch Jefferson made in the Buffalo game, when they asked Kirk about that afterwards, he said, I should have never thrown that pass.
Which I don't like that.
No, that would.
Did that change the fact that he threw it?
No, but that's to Jamie's point where he gets in his own head. He's still bothered by a interception he threw at Michigan State.
Can you also admit that he said that he overthrew him a little bit?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So it was 4th and 18. Yeah. He says in a normal situation. No, what he said is in a normal day, I probably don't throw that pass.
Yeah.
But it was at the end of the game. He wasn't regretting throwing that pass. He's saying normally I would probably not make that decision. But it's the situation. Come on. Yeah.
I don't know.
He does not regret throwing that pass. He said it was been a normal situation. He probably doesn't throw that.
Well, I don't know. Anyways, it's still, it's something we still have to worry about. Right now, we're 0-2. I think Kirk Cousins. All right, we'll get into that. Kirk Cousins, we'll see. I mean, last season, he did not have a lot of mental errors. It was just that one Giants play it's just there. And so far in the first game, he had some mistakes. It wasn't anything great or bad or terrible or whatever. And then this game, last game, he definitely was stepping up, specifically in the second half when we needed points. So we can just hopefully he keeps that up. Of course, if we go into playoffs, which I still hope we do, he's got to prove it to me now for me to believe it. I'm going to have to see it at least in a couple playoff games or whatever, but that's just how it's going to be no matter what. Even if he ends up with 6,000 yards by the end of the season, I'm not going to go into playoffs like, oh, we're going to Super Bowl for sure. That's just where I'm at with Kirk Cousins.
So studs and duds. My first stud of this game is Kirk Cousins.
I think he was a dud. Dud.
Dang, Dave with the dud. All right, studs and duds of this game. Also, we'll go back to what Gary asked for yards and all that kind of stuff. But studs in this game, I do think Kirk Cousins definitely could be a stud, but I think we got to go. We're going to win in the passing game. We already talked about them being the 32nd worst defense against the pass. So it's either going to be, you could say Kirk or Justin Jefferson. I kind of feel like those are going to be the number 1 studs in this game. And then hopefully Jordan Addison, it comes out as wide receiver 2, sees more snaps than KJ, and we'll see a lot of him as well. But studs, everybody in the passing game. Duds, without Eckler, I'm feeling a lot better. but my biggest worry for this team by far is going to be in the run game.
Yeah. And I don't know, even their backup running backs, I mean, they haven't been great, but any running back can run against his defense. You feel like if given the opportunity. So hopefully we can hold them down. But I'm more worried about what they can do to us in the pass game. I mean, we all know Justin Herbert's got a big arm. Probably hasn't played his best ball this year, but we know he's got it. And with Keenan Allen had a huge week last week, 2 touchdown receptions. Mike Williams, if he plays, we all know what he can do. Yeah, I have concerns. For that pass game against us. So. Got to be able to get some pressure. Davenport so far has not practiced yet this week, so it's not looking good.
Yeah, not looking great.
Luckily with Eckler, I did see KB Plays ask a question about Eckler earlier. He's also the DMP, and Brandon Staley said there's no timeline for his return, so it doesn't sound like he's playing.
Odds are he's not playing.
Yeah,
which is really big like for us. That is big for us. I would have been if I was going to say the player I'm the most worried about in this game, it would have been Austin Eckler for sure. Now, I mean, it's going to be Justin Herbert too. I think he's a talented guy, and then just him and Keenan Allen are probably the two we have to worry about the most.
Yeah.
How about you guys? What do you guys think? Any other studs or duds in this game? Or on
the stud side, I think I'm going with guy I've been super high on ever since we brought him in here, Ivan Pace. I mean, he's up among the league leaders in tackles. He's been one of the, if not the highest ranking rookie defender both weeks so far.
Right.
The guy's a heat-seeking missile out there. He's saw him take down a double team in that Philly game, 2 big guys in the line, and he still got made himself through there. Danielle Hunter, 4 sacks in 2 games, tied for the league lead right now. I mean, that's another one. And I think if we can get pressure on Herbert, I think that's going to be huge. And I think we can with the way Flores runs his guys out there. So
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. What's your thoughts, Dave?
On stud?
Yeah.
Or dud?
Studs or duds or just, I guess, like, who do you think is important for us to win this game? What do you think is important for us to win this game?
Well, I think, it's cliche, but, that find the mental fortitude that we do not fumble the ball unforced. Well, they're forced, but geez, some of these guys don't fumble at all. But I think it's I'm not worried about our receivers, Justin Jefferson, stretching out, things like that. But whoever our starting running back is in that game, I think it's important for him not to give up the ball. So I think that's important. But if I'm thinking about a stud in this game, I mean, the guy delivering the ball right now, he's got to be a stud in this game. Although I do worry about his mental capacity to play under the bright sun when the lights are brightest. And so I am a little worried about that.
It's a new
game. It's a daytime game. We're playing.
Yeah, we're good. He's good.
The big
he's
old
really hesitant.
It's great.
On 5 plays a game, and I think that's going to be a detriment to us. No, yeah, Kirk Cousins delivering the ball just to go like last year. He had that 3 game. Was it 2 games or 3? We had 2 games in a row where he had like 400 yards or something like that, or I don't know what it is. So keep that streak going. It does look like we're going to need to throw the ball a lot this year. So it might be on his shoulders this game. And I would think if we're going to win the game, Kirk's got to play like more like Philly than the Buccaneers.
Right.
So I think if he can do 2 games in a row. Now, for me, it's like, what's Herbert done in his career, right? He's, what does it say for a guy to lose at noon? It's like, I think it says more than losing the bright lights when your defense gives up 35, right? So it's like, they're not turning the ball over. They're scoring 25 points and still losing.
Right.
What does that say about that quarterback compared to our quarterback that looks like he's fighting every inch of the field? So, I think we got the edge of this game. I think we match up well. People keep saying like you guys did, and that they're like the Vikings West, and I can see that. But I just think we match up better against them than they do against us.
Yes, especially if they have the worst passing defense, and we have has to be the number one passing offense right now in the NFL. Has to be, right?
We're defending the pass well, and that's their strength without Eckler. So
yeah. Other than maybe Miami, and you have Justin Jefferson, so make sure you get Justin. There should not be a single 3 minutes where Justin Jefferson doesn't touch the ball. Make sure he touches the ball throughout the entire game.
If it's cloudy on Sunday, I have a little more confidence in Kirk. That bright sun coming through the windows. It's too much light.
That guy's insane.
Too much light.
That guy's insane at 12, man. But no, Justin Jefferson definitely get the ball. This offense honestly, it sounds crazy to get that Kirk Cousins could possibly get 6,000 yards. But at the same time, I'm like, why would we slow down? Because who's going to figure out Justin Jefferson? Especially, we don't even have Jordan Addison. Obviously, 6,000 is a lot to ask for. But, Jordan Addison should be wide receiver too, and he hasn't even been implemented the best way he can yet.
Imagine what we'd be like. Even better if he was on the field more.
Yeah, definitely better. And because Justin Jefferson is that big of a problem.
Oliver's doing exactly what we hoped he'd do, right?
Oliver's looking good and exactly in his role. And TJ Hawkinson, I think he had a better game against Philly and he's stepping up. So, it feels like our offense, the possibilities are endless for them. And you're going up against the 32nd obviously only 2 weeks, but the worst defense secondary in the NFL so far in the first 2 games.
Sarah, come on. Anyway, we can talk crap about Kirk, but we can't talk about crap about the player we're facing.
Let's not talk shit about that.
Come on, Sarah.
No, we're good. We'll move on.
I love you, Sarah.
Wasn't it the Chargers that Tyreek put up his 250 on or whatever? Or what did he have, 215 that first week or something? I think that was the Chargers, wasn't it?
I think it was. Yeah. Was it? I think it was.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're gettable. Well, we know that they're gettable with the number one wide receiver. We have a guy better than Tyreek Hill. So there we go.
We do. Dude, Justin Jefferson is just
Tyreek Hill's pretty special.
Yeah.
The biggest. Who's this Rams receiver, man?
This rookie
Puka Nacua or whatever his name is.
Like, who the hell are you? Dude, I gotta go look him up.
He was Jaron Hall's number one target at BYU.
That explains it.
Bring him here.
The thing
That's why we drafted him, because his receiver was really good. He tricked us. No, Jaron Hall looks like he'll be okay, especially as a backup.
But no, that wide receiver is crazy. He already has the record for the most catches in 2 games in his career, whatever. He has like 20 catches, 25 catches already.
He had 15 on Sunday. That's nuts.
15, just getting fed. That's why it'll be interesting to see what happens when Cooper Kupp comes back. If that just diminishes, or if he's not going to get that many catches with Cooper Kupp, but if he still gets at least like 5 a game, or if he's that big of a part of that offense. But it'll be interesting. So let's go through some score predictions here. I'll start, I guess. I'm going to say, I think we put up a lot of points. I'm going to say we put up 34-21.
I'm going to say 31-28 with a Greg Joseph game-winning field goal, because I'm calling it until it happens.
What do you think?
I'm going to go 38-31.
Okay. Yeah, this is definitely 35-30. This is going to be high scoring.
Depends on the it depends.
Oh wait, Mateo, I didn't see you pick the Chargers.
When the afternoon overcast hits, it really depends on that. And
just so
31-20. I 31-20. Vikings.
31-20.
Wow.
31-20 Vikings. I think we take care of them. I think they're reeling.
31-20 or 34-21.
31-20.
I think that offense.
I gotta put Greg Joseph into the game. Gotta get Greg in there.
He missed the extra point. No, did he miss the extra point?
Nope.
No. I'm thinking of. That's right. I'm thinking of another.
Amazon Prime. It looked like he did.
Yeah.
That looks bad.
He's got it though. He hasn't missed a single kick yet.
Week 2 and you're already ruining this for me.
Yeah, I know. Casey is the leader of the Greg
And I don't
Joseph
really even
hype
know
train.
why, honestly.
He is though, so he's got to ride with that. He's riding with Greg Joseph this year.
I am a big step below Casey on Greg Joseph on the hype train, but I think we made the right decision
to
not
keep
keeping
him
him
around
this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's better kickers out there, and he'll probably find one next year or the year after. But for now, he's clutch when he needs to be.
Is Carlson going to be available?
Yeah, right.
How's he doing?
I mean, I think he's doing.
Is he their MVP?
They suck. They're not very good.
Yeah, they have not been good so far. Because I mean, their defense is just awful.
Yeah,
it sucks for Devonta
Adams.
Yeah.
Jimmy G just ain't really fitting in there. It doesn't look like so.
I like Kofi, Gary, Dave, all the blowouts. Skol for life. Let's go.
Let's turn this around. Let's turn this around.
I would love nothing more than
talent to do it.
To just kick the ass of the Chargers. Get yourself like feeling good.
45-10 or something like that.
But. Yeah, just something crazy. Just crazy.
Yeah, Herbert did not have a good game, and Bosa did not have a good game the last time they came to Minnesota.
We need to keep that up. Keep that pressure up.
Absolutely.
Sarah, we need to find people to love.
Now, their coach had a worse game with his clock management. Remember the clock management? He threw the ball, I think, late in the game and gave us the ball back.
Yeah, Staley's clock management. This is the same guy that the Raiders were content to tie the game so they could both get into the playoffs, and he called a timeout, so the Raiders said screw it and went and scored points and knocked.
Was that 2 years ago? Or that was 2 years ago, right?
2 years ago, yeah.
Because they made the playoffs
last year. All he did was blow the biggest, like a huge lead in the playoff.
27-0.
Justin, and that one game is the reason why I like Justin Herbert, because he put the Chargers on his back.
And Jacksonville's quarterback had 4 picks in that game.
And I will blame like Herbert's start to where like his teams haven't been very good. I will blame on coaching. Like he needs to get a good.
So far, we do need it. It's fair to say we do still need to see more out of Justin Herbert.
So I think I read somewhere that there's a lot of like anonymous NFL execs that just think like he's average. Like he's got a good arm, but his decision making isn't great. So we'll see. We'll see.
Let's do this card giveaway. Everybody, again, Justin Jefferson rookie card giveaway. Hashtag Skol in the comments. Go and subscribe to Ryno on Vikings Uncensored. Subscribe to us, GG Sports Podcast, and Dave with Minnesota Sports Podcast if you haven't already. And like the video. Obviously, we want to get those likes in, beat the YouTube algorithm, which is one hell of a battle. So do that, and then we will get this going. Oh, man. I forgot to put it up. Hopefully,
did it save it?
Sometimes it takes them anyways, but
I kept screwing up and refreshing, so I kept losing all the entries. I was thinking I was having to refresh.
Yeah. So we had to start it. So hey, starting all over, we have 0 entries. Get those hashtag Skols. You have to be here to win anyway. So everybody who hasn't yet, get hashtag Skol in the comments for your chance to win this Justin Jefferson rookie card. If Jamie was doing a Kurt card, there would be like 2 people saying Skol.
Jamie, what was it like when you did a Kurt card?
I don't remember. It was hard. Kofi won it. Kofi won it, actually. I don't remember. I don't think anybody showed up for that. No, people care. Everybody, it was the same. I need to get some other cards than Justin Jefferson. I just know his are the best. I mean, I could do a Lewis Cine, but he's definitely low. But yeah, get those hashtag Skols in. Yeah, Kofi won. It went to the perfect person. I give away the Kirk Cousins rookie card, and it went to Kofi, of all people. I'll send it with Casey.
There we go. Big if. A lot of people see a lot of hashtag Skols rolling in, so I think it's going to be a competitive one.
Let me put this up here. I'm going to get some more different cards too. I've been trying to get some other cards, but they keep going. Like I was going to get some Adrian Peterson rookies, and I'm still waiting for Jordan Addison and the rookies from this year's to get Vikings uniforms and stuff on their cards. But once that comes in, I'm definitely going to get some of them. 13 entries came in quick. All right, we're going to run this thing at 8:02. Wait, that's a scene card? No, I have one here. It's not great. I have a pretty good one actually. This is the scene card here. This one's not great. I do have this one though, but I was gonna wait a little bit. I want him to play first, but this one's kind of a cool. It's Georgia, but this is an auto card. It's actually 1 of 1.
That looks sick.
Yeah, this is a wild card. It's not a Panini card, so it's not as valuable, but it looks really cool. And it is a 1 of 1.
Who makes
auto.
wild card though?
I don't know if it's just that's their
Doesn't it say?
brand. Authentic by wild card. So it's like
so
Leaf. It's like Leaf. But still cool. Can I unskull? No, I take that. We're gonna do the Justin Jefferson. We're gonna do the Justin Jefferson. I take that, Jamie. Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you guys off air what I just heard
times.
about Akers. I'm gonna tell you guys off air what I just heard about Akers.
I
can't say it.
Is it good?
Why can't you say it?
Is it good or bad?
Because it's salacious and I can't confirm it, and I don't want to have it out there.
Yeah. All right. Well. All right, we're gonna run this thing. Let me get it back up on the screen here. Boom. There we go. There we go. All right, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Who's winning it today? Who is winning it today?
When's the last time Sarah won?
It's been a while.
It's been a while for Sarah. Boom, right now. Mateo does pretty good out here. Mateo does pretty good. So you can give the scene card to
Jamie will send you the Lewis scene card. We're good.
Yeah, Mateo, you wanted Lewis scene?
Kirk Cousins, maybe? I think he's got one of those.
Mateo scene, I'd rather have a damn Ingram card. Really? Yeah.
An Ed Ingram card?
That's a lie.
No, Mateo. We got another one for you, brother.
We'll get you the JJ.
We got another one for you. All right.
Well, anything else in closing before we hop off here?
Let's turn it around.
Yeah. Ryno, we'll give you one more opportunity here. Everybody in the building,
This life-changing moment.
Find you. Tell them what you do. All that.
This make or break moment of your career. Of your
Yes.
giving.
Yeah, use it wisely.
Let's go.
Use it wisely.
All right. Again, just reminder, if you haven't done so, subscribe to Vikings Uncensored. We do 3 shows a week. Monday nights are always live at 7 p.m. Central. We do what we call Ryno's Rants. I do it solo. We kind of go over some of the hot button stuff, fallout from the game the previous weekend, things like that. Wednesdays, my co-host Brunswick has his own deal. We do what's called Brunswick's Best, where he takes a look at the historical players at each number and highlights a certain one this week, number 21. And then Friday is always our standard studio show. Sometimes it's live, sometimes it's pre-recorded, but we during the season we use it as a preview show for the upcoming game, things like that. Tackle the news, some NFL stuff, Vikings related, of course, and all kinds of different things like that. So other than that, this is in week 3. This is as close to a must-win game as there's going to be. So
Absolutely.
We just got to go out there and take care of business this weekend and let it fall as it may.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know how many times last year I heard this is a must-win.
What's up, Crown? How's it going?
What up?
I don't know how many times last year I heard like when we were like 9-2, how this was a must-win game when we were 2 games up on the second seed. But this game, yes,
This one really is.
This is one of those must-win games for, I would say, winning the division. You know what I'm saying? Because being 2 games back, turning the ball over, doesn't look good. But it may be not must-win game to make the playoffs because our division sucks. But and the NFC's down. But yeah, it's definitely for me a must-win game because it really.
You don't want to start 0-3, man.
0-3 historically, even on a 17-game season.
It's 3% chance to make the playoffs.
Well, they say 10%, but they go back to when there was 14 games and 12 games. But historically, 3 losses. Yeah, that's rough. That's weird.
Yeah,
and think about that. And 49ers, weren't they 0-2 last year?
Yeah, so were the Bengals, and the Bengals made it to the AFC Championship game. So it's possible, but I mean, you got to go on a run though, and it starts now.
We don't want to be.
There's 17 games.
I think you have to steal one from either the Chiefs or the Niners. They're both at home, so I think you got to find a way to win one of those 2 games. If you want
I had us losing to Cincy, I had us losing to Denver, and I don't feel as bad about those games now.
I think Cincy will be right there again by the end of the year. Like that team is too talented.
And now I was wrong about
Denver, though.
49ers. I thought they would struggle early and pick it up at late in the year, but now they're like freaking world beaters. And
with all the concern about Brock Purdy, he's looking pretty damn good. I mean, that's all in that offense.
I feel better about playing the Chiefs than I do about San Francisco.
Yeah,
I do.
You're not wrong.
I think
You're
San Francisco is the team I'm least excited to play. They just match up way too well. Their defense is
their offense is
way too well with any team. It's like whatever.
Like,
it's that defense, that pass rush that we gotta worry so much about.
And that 49ers offense would have dismantled Donatel's defense last year because that's what they do. They just get the ball out quick, short plays. Like so, hopefully this year we'll see if we'll see if we got a
running back
for him. But
kills it.
Yeah. If our running game doesn't wake up, Mac and Bosa exactly. Like if you put those two pass rushers in just a straight up just pass rush, like if you can put when they can pin their ears back and go after you, it's gonna be a tough one. So yeah, we got it. I don't know, just get the ball to JJ early and often, and from there, just let it go.
All right, we'll end with this.
But also, that's the thing. The Niners game's a Monday night game too, so it's tough. A lot of tough games coming up. So he's got to find a way to win.
Hey,
at least
what
one
up,
of them.
Tim?
Tim, I don't think Booth. That's a whole nother conversation for an entirely different day. I don't think Booth is ready for the NFL. Like that. But anyway, so again, thank you everybody for hopping in. Ryno, it does look like you picked up a couple of subs from our viewers here. So anybody that subbed to Ryno, thank you for that. If you haven't done so, just go do it.
I think it was his last speech. I think what did it. I think that put it over the top.
Oh, definitely.
Hey, we'll take them however we can get them.
It was the Ryno rants. Monday Ryno rants that did it.
That's what it is.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Thanks again for hopping in, everybody. We have content the rest of the week, all the different channels. Make sure to keep up with it all. Hopefully, get a win, get back on track, and we'll talk next week. Thanks for hopping in.
Skol Vikes.
Skol.